Well, hello and welcome to today's Tao Manifesting Tarot reading. Thank you very much for being here, whether you're a first timer, long timer, or cross watcher. Everybody is welcome. Always are, always are. So, what makes this tarot reading different from all other tarot readings? And this is most especially aimed at the first timers. First of all, it's archetypal, 8 to 10 cards from 4 different decks. Gives you a really good mix and the possibility of coming up with the same card 2-3 times maybe. And that would be important in terms of manifestation energy. Speaking of, this is really the big focus for this tarot reading, not predicting, but focusing on a particular manifesting energy that is around you right now. You can tap in, tap out, your choice. You always have the power. That's one of the things about these readings. You always have the power. It's all about you. And we're talking about manifesting energy as a tool that you can use to make your life work better. I also do the hyper shuffle. You'll see that in a moment. And I try to get the reading in a 10-minute window because you have a life. You have things to do. You're so busy that you can easily fit a 10-minute manifesting tarot reading into your day-to-day schedule. I do a brand new reading every day, 365 days a year, so you certainly have plenty of opportunity. And at 10 minutes a read, they're easy to catch up on if you fall a little bit behind. But here's where it all begins with the hyper shuffle. This is today's Tao Manifesting Tarot reading. It's how it begins in any event. We have the manifesting energy. Chop wood. Time to get down to business. You are probably already feeling that for folks in the northern hemisphere. That means springtime. For folks in the southern, fall. But there's something about the energy at this time of year that is timeless. We have a lot of major astrological aspects, and that is creating the energy. And you know it's time, no matter where you are on the planet, it's time to get down to business. Time to take care of business in your life. And that'll differ with everybody, no matter what. And kind of interestingly enough, we start with the Hermit card. You go get down to business. Well, the Hermit really doesn't do a whole lot of anything. No, that's not true. The Hermit does a tremendous amount of work. It's all internal. He is looking for that guiding light. He is looking for that possibility, that way, the opportunity. He is ever present. And you notice in this rendition, he's holding a wand, a staff, which could be called a wand. So excitement, enthusiasm, opportunity. And he's standing in water, emotion. That gives you a key in terms of what might be important in terms of seeing your way ahead. Because you know you have to move. It's just at this point, man, it's just not clear. It will become clear. There is a piece of information coming in. I'm feeling it'll be in the month of April. Probably around the middle of the month to the end of the month. Maybe the last 2 weeks. When the Knight of Swords comes galloping into your life. Knight of Swords is a lot like the Eight of Wands. Knights bring in information. And this person is bringing in some new insight, some new thoughts, some new approach. Maybe some new and important piece of information that you did not know before that is critical. Not by itself, but put together with all the other things that you know. Kind of, you get to see the whole puzzle, pretty much. So there's something coming, some revelation, some inspiration coming up for you. Probably at the last 2 weeks of this month is what I'm thinking, right around the full moon. The inspiration may be that you're much more important. You're much more valuable than you think you are. Or there is something that is said with that Knight of Swords that makes you understand how important your self-worth really is. That's what the Nine of Pentacles is all about. Again, Pentacles not dealing with strictly with money. Money is commerce. This Pentacle stuff is values. What do you value? What's important to you? This woman knows what's important to her. That's why she's independent in her case, because she can stand alone. She knows what's important, why it's important, and that shapes every single thing in her life. And to help you do this, and this will be the month, I think, where it really begins to crystallize, is the Judgment card, where you look at the past, the present, and toward the future, which is, by the way, very much what the Hermit is doing, looking towards the future, that insight, that piece of information, and that is simply confirmed by the Judgment card. Past and present combine to create the future. And you are ready for a future that where you're going to need to combine both time periods, the past and the present. Very, very important, very, very essential. We got the Four of Cups. Four of Cups has you in a quandary at this point. Four of Cups is kind of stuck in their emotional pattern. There's just no movement in any direction. They're just kind of stuck. And I was having a discussion with my sister last night, interestingly enough, and we were talking about the idea that I think people are so overwhelmed by the information, by the crises that we face day in, day out, that they're just in neutral. They're paralyzed. And I think this is what you have been facing, along with everybody else. You just in overload, and you go, I can't make a decision, even if my life depends on it. Move to the next magnifier card. There will be something, and I suspect it will have very much to do with this card, the Knight of Swords, this piece of information, this piece of revelation, and the fact that there's this underlying energy of chopping wood, of getting down to business. You put those two cards together, and this, the Tower, I'm not at all surprised if by the end of the month there is some sort of a tower in your life. And it doesn't have to mean that it directly impacts you, that in other words it's a disaster happening to you. It may be something outside of you where you can observe and draw a conclusion. And that will allow you to be able to chop wood, to get down to business. You need something to break that emotional log jam, that Four of Cups action. And what this is, it probably goes back to your daddy or father figures in your life. There is something, remember we were talking about the Judgment card, going to the past, combining the present to create the future. This revelation may have to do with some sort of father figure in your life. Again, it could be your father, your grandfather, your aunt, uncle. Doesn't make any difference. Whoever you put in that role, there is some revelation or some piece of information from the past that you want to take with you to the future. I know this Seven of Swords, that's an evil card. No, it's not. It's you leaving the scene of a disaster that you have called your life. He is taking the things that he knows are true for him, and he's leaving. Not playing that game anymore. They're not going to be really thrilled with you leaving their game, but you're leaving anyway. You're moving on. You're acting more like that Nine of Pentacles. And to do it, you got to go in the past. Now, this is a vice versa card in reverse, meaning this is going to be a recollection, not of a person particularly, although I did mention that, some father figure, but it may be some sort of an emotion that you felt, some sort of inspiration that you felt. Not so much the person, but the emotional message that they left you with. That is important, that's essential, that's vital to be able to get yourself out of that Four of Cups mode and get yourself moving to the active mode, chopping wood. It is time to get moving. By the end of the month, you will be in gear, for sure. You can do this. I know it. Thumbs up for the folks at YouTube, and of course, subscribe and share, please. We certainly want to help this channel grow, and I depend on you entirely. Any comments, make them below. I do get to them, and I appreciate your input all the time. So, I do a brand new read every day, 365 days a year. That means I will be here tomorrow. I would love you to be as well. You and I can manifest tarot together. But between now and the next time we do get together, peace and blessings.